going on, YouTube? Well, wow, that was the most cringy YouTube intro I've ever done. Sounds like the most cliche, like, YouTuber, like, mega popular YouTuber, like, what's going on, internet? Yeah, maybe we just leave that in there. Maybe we just run with that. Well, whether I leave that in or not, hello, YouTube. Welcome to spooky stuff. As contradictory to the vibe of intro I'm giving, we're going to be watching something spooky in light of Halloween coming up, and I thought we'd go back to watching some SCP-related content. This one is called No Vacancy, Liminal and Spatial. Seeing as we ended up watching some Backrooms-related stuff recently, I thought it'd be kind of nice to give something that's sort of that border between SCP and also liminal content. So sit back, relax, and let's open our minds, shall we?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller.
God, I'm already getting some vibes from
we're going to be looking at today
the Backrooms.
Is SCP-7819. Object class.
Do you think that I'm pretty sure this is 3D, but I guarantee you that this could have also been like him just going into a random hotel and being like, yep, time to record some people pooping.
Keter, uncontained. Special containment procedure.
Also, this right here, I don't give a shit about any of the other SCPs. At least the other SCPs are a quick, like most of the other SCPs are a quick death. This would horrify me. Liminal spaces like Silent Hill PT, these kind of like never-ending corridors, the never-ending like stairway. Those liminal spaces legitimately creep me out more than any of the monsters do in these universes. I hate the concept of going into a space and it just changing around you and always being like a living entity. Wait, did you know that we have a Discord and a Twitch? No? Well, now you do. So what are you waiting for? Why don't you click those little links over there and be part of the fun? Just like the rest of us cool kids, you know what I'm saying?
If you are currently under the influence of SCP-7819, please immediately refer to Addendum 1.
Do not stare at the bodies in the water.
SCP-7819 is still under active study. If you believe you have come into contact with it, contact the research lead immediately.
Do not stare at the bodies in the water.
SCP-7819 is a predatory location that manifests along exits of the United States numbered highway system in the contiguous United States.
So this is going to be a bit like Infinite IKEA, right? So who's stupid enough to go into a place that looks like this? Unless they're coaxing you in with some, like, obscenely interesting pornography, I don't think many people would really go into a place that looks like this. Unless there's some really good hentai. I mean, if there's some really good hentai, I could see myself going in there. It'd be worth it.
SCP-7819's appearance is generally fixed. It presents as a small roadside hotel or motel, though the exact layout may vary. Advertising vacant
rooms, this is definitely 3D.
Always identified by exterior signage as the
I'm gonna close captions on for you guys. There you go.
Several conditions must be met for SCP-7819 to manifest for a driver. The time between midnight and 4 a.m., local time zone.
Ugh. Who the hell's awake at that time of night? Oh yeah, me this morning because I couldn't sleep. Dude, I don't know what the hell was going on with me last night. I put my head down at 11, could not sleep. I was up until like 12 and my brain would just not shut off. So I got out of bed and I just stayed awake the entire night, which is why I'm very tired right now.
The driver of the vehicle must have been driving for over 5 hours, discounting small breaks. The driver must be a past
it's the SCP number.
Or present Foundation employee. The driver must be alone in the vehicle. Upon driving near it...
so the motel is a cougar. Preying on lonely, divorced, single Asian dads. Yes, please come inside me and spend all your money. Anyway.
SCP-7819, the driver will begin to feel a deep-seated sense of fatigue and tiredness. It is unclear whether this is a natural reaction to driving for several hours and seeing an opportunity for a break, or an anomalous phenomenon caused by SCP-7819 to lure drivers in.
Oh, dude, this isn't even a monster and I'm creeped out. I hate the idea of these liminal spaces. Oh, God. It's that concept of knowing that, like, because at least with monsters, you have a tangible thing that you can, like, put your hand on. Something that's, like, ascertainably a creature. These like spaces, it's that like uncanny valley of not being able to think, oh, you know, my brain is not connecting the fact that this is a room, it's a building, it's a thing, but it's alive. That connection is so hard to make, and that's what like drives the eeriness to it. I don't know if you guys saw a movie a long time ago. I think it was like Hotel Room 101 or something, and the same thing with that. Like, I mean, there's a couple of movies about liminal spaces where like man goes into hotel room and he sort of phases out of existence, out of that reality. Yeah, Hotel Room 1408. Great movie, really, really creepy. Just watching the madness unfold of this nightmare scenario unplaying out, knowing full well that you're lost. You're right where you thought you were. You know that you were in reality moments ago, but that reality has shifted around you. Like, Backrooms kind of gets that vibe as well, but it's very outlandish and it's very surreal, so you kind of know that you're in this liminal space and you kind of adjust to it. But when it's stuff like this that looks still real, until some monster turns up, fuck, dude, that just, ugh. And especially, like, going into somewhere that you know, and then all of a sudden turning a corner and there's just a turning that you never knew that was there before. Like, you go into your workplace, doing your typical routine, go into, like, a room, come out, and all of a sudden you're somewhere different. Just imagine how maddening that would be.
Fatigue will continue as the driver pulls off the highway and into the
I think it's like any
lot
reality-altering SCP or
Should the
liminal
driver
space is
drive
just going to
past
wild me out.
SCP-7819, the sense of fatigue will remain, though through unknown means their vehicle will be
184?
seamlessly
Maybe we'll look at that sometime.
transported several miles backward, often without their realization. They will drive
Is this gonna be like Infinite IKEA where there's at least food and water?
be transported backward again, and this process will continue until they park inside SCP-7819.
Oh, so you don't even have a choice?
The driver
Oh, wow. Okay, so literally, even if you do, like, if this SCP sees you or targets you, you're toast. You're just done. You're on for the ride at that point. Interesting. Okay, that's even creepier. I don't like that. That scares me. Like, at least with some SCPs, you have the choice of engaging with them. This one's like, nah, dude. If I've seen you, you're my new tier 3 sub, man. You're gonna subscribe to my fantasy whether you like it or not.
driver will not be able to escape this phenomenon until they exit their vehicle, enter SCP-7819, and perform several requisite activities. These activities vary, but SCP-7819's many manifestations have provided a relatively dependable action plan for performing the rituals and surviving SCP-7819. If you are currently under the influence of SCP-7819, please proceed through Addendum 1. Remain calm and do not rush.
Just gonna put it out there, this creepy music that's in the background, I know most people wouldn't really notice it, but it is adding a real underlying level of ambience to this, and I do not like it.
Accuracy
I'm
and
a bubbly baby
efficiency
bitch
is
at the
more
best of time. This shit's
important
creeping me
for
out.
survival than speed. Good luck. Addendum 1.
Okay, so how do we deal with this?
7819 Survival Guide. Up to date to March 26th, 1996.
1996! Mother trucker! At this point, there's probably gonna be like flat screen TVs and mobile phones that you gotta watch Skibbity Toilet. Dude, if this was only updated till 1996 and they don't know about Skibbity Toilet, guarantee you one of the challenges in this is to pick up 22 different mobile phones and watch every episode of Skibbity Toilet in order. And if that's the challenge, I choose death. I choose death. Just take me now.
Space. Parking lot. Instructions. Bring your car into...
Okay, before this goes, I wonder if... So, in my mind, this is going to be absolutely if the challenges start right when you park and you're so disorientated that you don't even know and you miss one of the challenges before you've even started. Like, you go inside, you forget the challenge. Like, it could be as simple as, like, make sure you park under a light. Oh, I parked in the darkness. Guess I'm fucked.
to an empty parking space. Try to select one that's surrounded by other vehicles. To separate yourself from the pack would attract attention. Once you park, exit your vehicle.
What does that mean? What does that mean? To separate yourself from the pack? What the fag?
Take only what you need.
I
Whatever
don't like
device
that.
you are reading or listening to this document on, your cellular phone, keys, purse or wallet, and a bag containing some toiletries and essentials. Luggage and clothing will slow you down. If you have been equipped with a firearm or own one privately, do not take it with you.
Oh, okay.
Spend some time in the parking lot before entering the lobby. Observe the other parked cars around you. You will note inconsistencies, such as wheels made of wood.
Ah, so everything is just a simulation then. It's like what the location perceives as real. Interesting. Like, it's trying to convince you, to hoodwink you.
Unclear jumbles where logos and brand marks should be. And shapes or designs that do not correspond to any actual vehicles produced by automotive companies. Avoid looking through the windows. If there is a large burning vehicle in the parking lot, do not investigate it further. If at all possible, pretend it is not there.
God, some of these instructions are so nonchalant. If there's a giant monkey dancing around with bananas on his head and a giant dildo in one hand, pretend he's not there. Pretend he's not there. I know it's really hard. Pretend he's not there. If you see a giant succubus with big horns with purple tips, long blue hair and purple tips to the hair, with big busty tits and hips the size of your mama, pretend she's not there. I know it's gonna be really hard. Pretend she's not there. If she offers you coitus, pretend she's not there. If she starts sucking your dick, pretend she's not there.
Enter the lobby before the fire goes out.
I followed protocol. Pulled my forerunner into a parking spot of this dingy sex motel. The last parking spot, actually. The lot was completely full otherwise.
Wait, so they've managed to forcibly get researchers into this place? How do you do that? Like, just get some lonely ass researcher who's bored of their life to be like, hey, do you want to fucking die? Do you want to go into a liminal space to perform research for our benefit by yourself? Well, good news. We're gonna give you a pay rise if you take this chance. Oh God.
I grab a few things I have and squeeze out of my car, parked next to this big Dodge Caravan. Except, wait, no, I'm not. It's like you described a caravan to someone else, and they described it to someone else, and then that person had to make a model of what they had in mind out of paper mache. I accidentally knocked a hand against it and realized that it was made out of some kind of plaster. And it was hollow.
It's the
I got
illusion.
curious, so I started investigating the other cars. All like this, logos and designs that look like cars on you going up.
But did you
took a
stare at the
closer
bodies in the
look,
water?
And it's all nonsense. A facade, literally. I wasn't scared or anything, but it did put me on edge. Like how, when you know someone is trying to put you at ease, you put your hackles up.
Like an anglerfish.
Space. Lobby. Instructions.
Okay, so the car park doesn't seem too challenging.
The lobby, make your way to the front desk. It will be unoccupied. You may ring the bell once.
I mean, at this point, I'd still think I was in a typical American motel at this point. Yeah, hello? Can I get a room, please? Hello? Anyone here? Ding, ding, ding. Can I get a room, please? Oh, right. There's been 2 murders since I got here. Okay. No, you know what? Never mind. I'll just sign myself in.
If the sound brings you comfort. Wait in the lobby without exiting it. Hum your favorite song to yourself as you wait. The silence in the lobby has been described as oppressive. Stop humming when you become aware of the noises coming from behind the counter. Hop the counter. There should be a closed door, rattling as though someone is on the other side. Listen to the sounds and note them down. When they get louder, repeatedly slam your fist against the door.
Dude, this is too specific. I'd be dead already. I would have been dead in the parking lot because my ADHD would have got the goddamn better of me, and I'd be looking at the fire going, ooh, fire! Wow, okay, I'm dead. Great, cool, thanks.
Do not speak. Eventually, you will be slipped a key to a room. This may not work on the first attempt. Repeat it until you succeed. Say thank you and...
How do people figure this out? Like, this is so hyper-specific. I'd be dead within 5 minutes. But thankfully, we got this handy-dandy survival guide, so maybe I wouldn't.
Depart.
Say thank you?
No idea
Well, I'd be
what's
fucked. I'm
going
British.
on.
I'm not allowed to say thank you.
Door's firmly locked. I can just hear through it. and the paper-thin walls. Pretty filthy noises. Soft enough to where I have to press my ear against the door to hear anything. Wet slapping like someone thumping a drenched towel against the ground over and over.
Damn, they're getting more action than I am.
There's this periodic wet coughing. The snapping stops during the coughing. Also, this moaning. It sounds...
Oh boy! Ooh, we got an old diabetic who's trying to get some action. Oh boy!
in pain.
Hi, Darren.
Like someone starving to death. Rises and falls in pitch, but
Bit of the
I can hear whispering too. And sometimes the moaning and whispering and coughing are all at the same time. How many
How's anybody supposed to take that seriously? It's some asthmatic diabetic perv who's watching hentai for the first time.
people are in there? I tried rattling the doorknob and it all stopped.
Group gooning session? Oh.
All of it except for the moaning. I froze, and after a few seconds, they went back into it. Weird as shit.
I mean, you know what? Gooning never does stop.
Space. Elevator. Instructions. Your room will be inevitably on a higher floor.
Of
You
course.
will be unable to find
Fucking
stairs.
motel rooms. Can they
forcing
never
you
give me
to
a
use the
room on the
elevator.
bottom floor so I don't have
You
to
will notice
take an
that the
elevator or
buttons are
hike
in
up a
an
million
inexplicable
stairs?
pattern
That'd be great, thanks.
and have unclear
Paid
writing on
$500 for the
them.
night. Could I at least
Press
have
whichever
some
one
convenience?
feels right. There will never be another person in the elevator with you. If you see someone, be aware that they are not human.
Yeah, of course they're not human. They're me. After you paid $50 for my night. I'm a succubus, bitch. What do you expect?
Treat them with the appropriate level of caution. Do not remove your eyes
Like how
from them.
nonchalant they are about this. Yeah,
And
they're not
always
human.
stand with your
Yeah, don't
back
worry, they're not
against
human.
the wall.
Well, if they're not human, what are they?
If the figure resembles an older, clean-cut man wearing an expensive suit and overcoat, do not enter the elevator.
Dude, this is like rolling a D20. This is like a choose your own adventure. You know those books where it's like, there's an elderly man with a clean-cut jacket in the elevator. What do you do? Run away, piss yourself, get in the elevator. And you get in the elevator, boom, go to page 89, you're dead.
It will smile at you, compliment your appearance, and hold the door for you. It will do this for up to several minutes, repeatedly attempting to convince you to enter. Politely but firmly tell it that you are just passing through and will wait for the next one. Stand beyond the threshold. It cannot pursue you outside of the elevator. Eventually,
sure about that?
it will move on. If the figure resembles a middle-aged woman in hiking gear, you
It means you're in with a chance. Oh yeah, bow chicka bow wow.
may enter the elevator and ride it to your destination. The elevator ride will take much longer than it should, up to half an hour.
What?
Do not panic, and reciprocate the woman's attempts to make conversation.
What happens if you
Do not be
don't?
honest with her. Lie openly and brazenly about every possible detail, including obvious ones such as your ethnicity and age.
I do that every day.
She
I'm a
appreciates
VTuber.
If the figure resembles a younger vagrant, it is safe to enter the elevator. They will not speak, but may offer you a hug.
Oh god, it's like being at any comic convention ever. Get into an elevator. A woman? Hug? Hug, please? Can I buy your socks $40?
Accepting this has no consequences and is left to your discretion.
Yo, free
When
hug!
you arrive at your floor, they may offer a small trinket, such as a tin duck or ceramic ashtray. Accept it gratefully and keep it close at hand.
Interesting.
My nerves are on fire. I was lucky I pulled the vagrant card instead of the Wall Street anglerfish card at least. They seemed nice.
Like, the
Moving over
details
to
in this
the
are
19 or
so
20,
nonchalant. They're like, they go into
drifting
no
close,
detail with it
completely
or
worn through.
explaining, and I think that's kind of what makes
I
it
got
so
in,
fascinating.
And we were standing next to each other heading up to my floor when he reached out. I just sort of
I'd like to know what
let
happens
it
if you
happen,
fail.
And he hugged me. A proper hug. Haven't been hugged like that in a long time. say a word. Just hugged me for a few seconds, like he knew I needed it. Stepped back, handed me a matchbox filled with leaves, and then the doors were closing and he was gone.
Space. Hallway.
Okay, but what happens if you don't follow these instructions? There's so much that could go wrong. I'd be terrified.
Some kind. Checking your room key is pointless. It will either not have a room number or have an entirely impossible one. Your room will make itself known to you when
Sounds
you
like a
find
challenge
it.
to me.
As such, begin walking down the hallway. Resist the urges to investigate the other rooms in the hallway.
You're saying that to someone with ADHD. First door I see. Ooh, what's in here? And I'm dead.
Doors have peepholes in them, and making eye contact may invite unwelcome attention.
Like what,
Keep your
though?
eyes focused down, and ignore any feelings of being observed as you proceed down the hall.
Is this like a Lethal
Avoid
Company
making
thing where
noise.
the doors are mimics?
The other guests are sleeping.
Oh.
The hallway is generally not linear.
How'd you know that?
And you may find various other spaces. Eventually, you will arrive at a crossroads. These will occur regardless of whether the exterior topology of SCP-7819 allows for it, and are suspected to be incongruous spaces. As such, it is advised not to remain in them for more than a few minutes at most. Personnel who have dallied in the crossroads report dull headaches and paranoia.
So the average experience of
This is
collabing
best
with other
addressed by
VTubers, cool.
picking a direction at random and beginning to walk down it.
Nice to know that being a
It is
VTuber prepares
unclear
me for
whether
the eldritch monstrosity that are
SCP-7819 adapts
SCPs.
to one's mind or vice versa. But this has been the most effective method for arriving at one's room. You will know it when you see it.
Really? How?
I have no idea how long I was
Explain!
walking. At least 40 minutes. But that was after I started checking my watch. Just endless shag carpet and flickering yellow lighting and shitty
So this is
commercial
the
art
back
on
rooms.
wall.
Literally.
I thought-
Even with the dull in the background. Ugh,
Thought it
don't
would
like
just
this.
be one long hallway, but it wasn't. I mean, it's fast it was. But then it ended and took a sharp right turn, and then a left, and then down a set of stairs, past a smoking lounge through a little walkway. Didn't have any sense of consistency to the construction. Just felt like a weird amalgamation of every hotel I've ever been in, glued together without thought.
Yeah, like this thing feels like it's doing the perception of what you perceive a thing would be. I think they said it best at the start, right? Like it's what it like somebody. It's like somebody told someone, and then that someone told another person, and then that person told this thing, and this thing's like, oh yeah, now I can make this vaguely.
Eventually, it started getting really bizarre. The carpet went from drab beige to like the
I
pattern
just realized this is describing what it's like to be in the deeper parts of the Makari mansion. These liminal spaces, man.
you find on bus seats. There were curtains, but they were nailed to the wall so they couldn't be opened. Every successive set of doors kept getting lifted a few inches off the ground until they were literally halfway into the ceiling.
Oh.
This isn't a place people were meant to be.
Dude! Genius of the year right here, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute unit of a logical thinker. Can we get a round of applause for this absolutely giga-headed IQ individual? Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Round of applause. Such a smart individual.
Space.
Comment of the century.
Instructions. Use your key and enter your room. You will immediately feel a chillness in the air. This is normal. Do not close the door behind you until you have turned on all the lights and ensured you are alone in the room. There may be a door to an adjoining room. Move a piece of furniture in front of this door, or otherwise find a way to barricade it.
But why? Like, they're giving us these instructions, and they're giving us, like, things with, like, really nonchalantness to things that would need explaining as to what happens if you don't do it. Like, oh yeah, there's a chimpanzee in the room. Do a pirouette, stand on your head, do a ballerina pose, and then call the monkey a nice boy 5.2 times. And then walk out the room. Okay, but why? What happens if I don't? Is the chimpanzee gonna file my taxes for me if I don't?
The layout of the room will vary and be completely idiosyncratic, such as having mismatched furniture sets, dozens of chairs filling the room with nothing else, or being difficult.
The creature was like, what's in a hotel room? Well, there are chairs. I know there are chairs. Gotta have a bed if you're in a hotel room. How many chairs? Yes. How big should the bed be? Something. Do they need windows? I guess. Where should they be?
To traverse. Do your best to get comfortable. The bathroom may be locked from the inside, but this is not a point of concern unless you have reason to believe someone is inside.
Why would there be someone inside?
Bar the door to the best of your ability. You may keep the lights on or dim them, but get into a bed and pull the covers over yourself.
No. If I pull the bed covers over me, the grudge girl's gonna get me. If I get into a bed in a place like this, grudge girl's gonna eat me. No, wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. Nope.
You may put something on to calm your nerves. Personnel have suggested home and garden television delivers the best results. Eventually, you will fall asleep.
My room
No, I won't. Not if my recent sleeping schedule's anything to go by.
had 3 beds, standing out from and facing a single focal point. A shitty microwave that wasn't even plugged in. Absolutely baffling. Like it was designed by a person with no understanding of how humans lived.
Well, they
I got in
guesstimated.
and made sure everything was fine, then put my stuff down. Took a leak, which is when I found out the bathroom was fake. The plumbing wasn't attached and the toilet and shower were made out of, like, plywood. Like props on a movie set. Hardly the weirdest thing so far, but for some reason it just f***ed with me. I got out and slipped into bed. Almost immediately I felt insanely tired despite the circumstances. I could barely keep my eyes open, and right as I was drifting off, it occurred to me that I hadn't checked under the beds.
Don't do it. Do not check under your bed.
Space. Pool. Instructions. You will wake up in the hotel hot tub. There will be no one else in the indoor pool area, and you will feel physically awake but mentally exhausted.
So, like I do on a regular basis when I do donathons. Yippee! I'm prepared!
A small radio set on a nearby table may be playing a song from your childhood, but the signal will be of poor quality. Try to tune it better if you can, but do not change the station. Do not change the station.
Do not stare at the bodies in the water. I do not see faces in the water. Well, what's that quote again? I do not see faces in the water.
You may exit the hot tub and
dude, this is so unsettling. They're not explaining what happens if you don't do things.
Idiosyncratic shape and construction. You will find that the surface tension of the water is much stronger. It has formed a thick, tight membrane that prevents objects from breaking through it. As such, do not step into the water.
But why? Yeah, I mean, you're telling us what to do and what not to do, but you're not giving us, like, rationales to why. And this is so unsettling. The unsettling thing is, they're saying don't do these things, but why? What happens if we do? We need to know the weight and brevity to the thing that we're not doing. Like, what if we oopsie? I mean, is it really that final that if we don't do if we do something you tell us not to, is it just instant death? Fuck.
You will drown.
Oh. Okay, the one time they give us the one time they explain the punishment for doing something you're not meant to. The one time! Fuck. Okay. Story, thank you for the follow.
Beneath the membrane, you may see shapes moving around. Ignore them.
No. But what are the shapes? What are the shapes? Why? You explained what happens if you get in the water. What are the shapes? Don't ignore me. Please explain. I don't like being left in the dark. You've explained all of the things so far, but not given any details as to why or how or what or what the fuck is going to... This is edging and blue balling, and I don't like it. I want to be finished. Not a word. Not a word. I will not sully this recording with my bullshit. Beelzebub, thank you for the resub.
The hot tub, re-entering it. This time, completely submerge yourself. Despite your expectations, once you go under, it will not feel warm. It will feel painfully, bitingly cold, as though stepping into ice water. Ignore it and open your eyes. You will find that the hot tub descends several feet deeper than expected. Swim to the bottom and grab the small object you see lying on the floor.
God, this is like some instructional guide, like to a walkthrough guide to some video game. Like this is what people who play Silent Hill go through, right? I've never played a Silent Hill game, which, by the way, I'll be playing Silent Hill 2 on my Twitch stream for Halloween soon. But I've heard the stories about how nonsensical Silent Hill puzzles are. This is what it feels like when you play a Silent Hill game, knowing that you need the answers to the puzzle, and the answers never give you what you want.
Inspect it after emerging from the water. You will find your clothes neatly folded on a nearby table. Dry and redress yourself before departing for your room.
I've always loved hotel pools. Something about them. I don't know. You'd think everyone would go for it, but for whatever reason, it feels like I'm the only one who's ever in one. So it's just a nice, calming space for...
You want to know why I've never jumped in a public pool before? Because every time I do, there's always some obnoxious little toddler who's taken a dump in the pool. Or you can see kids whizzing in it. You can see just the amount of microplastics that you're... But yes, no, don't mind me. I'll love to get in this pool today. I'll take that fecal matter right in my eye. And yummy, all the delicious microplastics my body could ever need.
For me to sink into the water and be utterly alone. This wasn't like that. This felt
Pretty sure 90% of those people who do that as well are in my chat right now.
Indescribable
Bunch of
way.
pisses.
Every facet of it seemed designed for maximum discomfort. The echo bouncing off the ceiling and water being close enough to your own voice to trick you up. The angles and contours of the pool were unnatural, like someone had never seen a pool before. Literally hundreds of life preservers hanging off the walls.
Ongoing trend of no one knowing how the...
unnerving.
This whole description of somebody not knowing how to design a pool sounds like the same philosophy that that level designers at Blizzard use for World of Warcraft. It's like somebody knows what a level looks like, but they've never seen one before in their life, and then they put it into a game.
The membrane on top made it so that everything underneath the surface was blurry and hard to make out. But still, I could see 3 or 4 blurry shapes moving around, slimming back and forth. One of them was person-shaped. At first, I thought it was another person, trapped or something, and tried to get a little closer. Didn't step into the water, but I put my hand against the film. It swam up on the other side and pressed its palm where mine was.
Ooh, no.
Held it there for a moment. Then it starts slamming its fists against the membrane wildly, trying to tear through it like a wild animal. I can hear it screeching from under the water.
Oh, God.
Screamed, scrabbled backward, grabbed my things, and ran. Thankfully, I only checked out the other pool after getting the object from the hot tub. It was my engagement ring. My engagement ring. I lost it years ago. Flashed it down the toilet of a hotel I was staying at.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Space. Breakfast area.
Breakfast? Okay, let me guess. We're gonna have to eat exactly 2 crumpets, 1 badly cooked scrambled eggs, 2.5 glasses of milk, and 1 loaf of bread. If we eat anything else other than that exact combination in that order, we die.
Instructions. On your way back to your room, you will pass by the breakfast area attached to the lobby. Despite it being still night outside, it will be open and the lights on. Enter. There will be a large amount of food laid out on the counters. Most of it will be inedible in some form, though there are usually some edible foodstuffs. Ignore all of them.
Oh, right. Okay,
Do
never mind.
not feel guilty about doing so, and instead make your way to the only other person in the breakfast area. Join them at their table as they eat. They will attempt to persuade you to stay. Politely but firmly deny them. It will make your heart hurt, but it is necessary should you wish to leave.
Oh god, that'd be terrifying.
They will repeatedly do this, and you must repeatedly deny them until they stop asking.
The one thing that the one thing that I struggle to deny more than my yearning for freedom. Anyone requesting me to do anything ever. Social situations are hard, man.
Big fruit, styrofoam waffles, muddy water instead of coffee. I'm not exaggerating, it was literally fake food. All laid out and presented like a typical continental breakfast. Very weird, but I followed the instructions, ignored all of it, and headed for the man at the table. Older guy, salt and pepper hair, looks like every dad. The only sound in the room was his chewing, and the dead air on the television as it softly played static. He seemed excited to see me once he noticed me. Asked me to please take a seat. So I did, opposite him. Started bombarding me with questions. Where was I from? Where was I going? How long I'd been on the road? But not with the sinister edge of the people in the elevator. Genuine, sincere, wanting to know if I was all right and having a nice time. I tried my best not to feel bad about ignoring all of his questions and just saying, I want to leave. I got the sense he'd heard this a lot, and he was persistent about it. What can I do to make your stay better? Sorry, I say, but I want to leave. You're not enjoying the amenities? They're fine. I still want to leave. Don't you think this is nicer than having to deal with the troubles of life?
Oh no, the one weakness I'll have is confrontation and guilt tripping. Don't you want to stay? Aren't you enjoying yourself? No, I'm horrified and terrified and I want to go home. And I really don't like talking to you.
It's a resort. Maybe, but I prefer the troubles over whatever this is. Fighting to choke down the parts of me saying he has a point. Eventually, he just goes crestfallen. Is there anything else I can do to make you stay? No. He seemed to accept that. Told me to spend the rest of my night. Check out in the morning. He was still sitting there when I left. Alone.
So the old guy...
Check.
The old guy must be like the manifestation, the final checkpoint. Like, hey, you want to stay in this eldritch abomination of a liminal space? You want to, like, feed me? Oh, it really is a bit like Room 1408. Like, you do something wrong and you just become part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew.
Check out. Instructions. When you wake up the next morning, late, regardless of when you fell asleep, gather your things and depart your room. You will find that the layout of SCP-7819 has shifted dramatically and is much easier to navigate. Several doors in the hallway will be hanging open, and you will pass cleaning carts as though housekeeping is doing their rounds. There will be no one around except you. Head to the elevators and back down to the lobby.
Is there any in the other elevators?
There will similarly be no one at the front desk, but place your key down. Depart SCP-7819. Get in your vehicle. The parking lot will now be empty. And get back onto the highway.
So, okay. This is one of those SCPs that I find fascinating because unlike a lot of SCPs, it seems like it obeys a set of rules. Whether it inters them or not. Like, I like this one because it feels like it's based in some form of, I want to say logic, but it's not one of those like immensely outlandish SCPs, like, you know, every SCP-001 that ever exists. This one feels interesting because it's not directly threatening you. And it gives you the chance, like, how you're supposed to know this by going in there without prior information is beyond me, but the fact that you can leave if you know how is really kind of interesting. Yeah, this is a really interesting SCP. I'm really glad we chose this one to watch. Hi, Marin. How you doing?
Driving until you can get into contact with your nearest site and report your SCP-7819 encounter.
The light of day makes things feel a lot different. The laboratory...
Gonna sound weird. I'd actually want to go to this one. If I had the checklist and I knew what I had to do, I'd do this. I actually would. It'd be scary as shit. Because, I mean, the scariest part would be not knowing, right? You don't know the consequences of not following the list. But knowing that there is a defined set of rules, knowing there is a defined list of things you have to do, if it's that clear cut, like, this is my autism ADHD kicking in, knowing there is a list and a surefire way of getting out, I mean, dealing with the paranormal bullshit would be wild in of itself, but I think it would be fascinating. Hey, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments, would you give this a go if you had the list given to you as to what you had to do? Also, Jester, thank you for the follow.
of the carpet and hallway just felt odd now.
Yeah,
Not
it's like
sinister. I
it's
went
like
down-
extreme haunted house, right? It's like you go, like, I'm pretty sure there's like an SCP that's like that as well, like haunted house or haunted carnival ride or something, and it actually ends up being more of an SCP with liminal space elements to it.
Upstairs, turned my key into the empty desk. The breakfast area was closed again. I stepped out the doors. The sun was shining. Got in my car, got back on I-10, put the hotel in my rearview mirror, and then as soon as it came, it was gone.
And yet somehow this describes me perfectly. As soon as she came, she was gone, off to have her escapades elsewhere. Wow, I really have become more and more unfiltered as time's going by.
Parents and I used to take a lot of road trips when I was a kid, so we stayed in a lot of motels. You know the kind. Shitty roadside lodging where the rooms are cramped and the prices...
So it's gonna sound weird. In England, we don't really get motels like this. Like, you do, but not like this. Ours are kind of like travel lodges and stuff. We get cheap hotels, but we don't get your, like, cliche American motel type stuff. Not to the extent. And, because, like, in England, we have, like, a sort of, like, perception of what your motels are like. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, all those stereotypes are kind of true. Like the seedy motel kind of thing. That to us is an American cliche because we just don't get those kind of things over here.
These are dirt cheap. Years old carpet. Unfashionable furniture from the 70s. Sinks that stick out into the room and hard mattresses. Not a resort. Just a place to lay your head down for the night. Transitory spaces.
Okay,
where you're meant to
two
come
questions
and
is clearly
go.
from England, because their question was,
Not to stick
how many
around.
trips in the UK are multi-day
Motels
affairs?
are not
True,
home,
real, somebody who's
obviously.
clearly a
They
Brexit
try their
geezer.
best to feel like they're home, but not particularly well.
I mean, that's
which
true
is
to
why
an
they
extent.
have such a unique vibe of their own. A corporate design space calculated to put you at ease. They're spaces for humans to inhabit, but there's nothing really human about them. 7819 embodies that pretty well. Something that
There's something about this one that just screams choice. Like, there's a word that keeps coming back to me, and it's choice. And if you make the right choices, you can leave. And this place is doing everything in its power to make you make the wrong choice. It's trying everything in its power to convince you that you want to stay. To do the thing that has basically said to the entity that you don't want to return. And at that point, you end up prey to whatever repercussions your actions dictate. The only one we really heard was, you know, if you get into the water and you drown. But we don't really know what happens when you don't follow the rules. Like, what happens if you get in the escalator with the grey man? What if you don't bar the doors? What if you don't turn the lights on fully? What happens? I think that not knowing is actually way more interesting than knowing, because it leaves that suggestibility. It leaves that mind palace and imagination working. I think if they told you what happens if you do it wrong, the mystique of it would disappear. I find that storytelling compelling as fuck. And this actually might be one of my favorite SCPs I've looked into recently. And realistically, it's not even scary. Like, there was no monster. There was no, like, maniacal, crazy monster. As far as you know. I mean, there's the idea that if you fail, something bad happens, but you don't know what. I think that's awesome. I think that's kind of storytelling is the antithesis, the absolute zenith of atmosphere building and horror. Screw these jump scares. Screw the most, like, in-your-face ooga booga ooga. Give me atmosphere. Give me ambience. Give me that, like, unsettling shiver up my spine. That is true horror. And this is giving me that vibe.
It doesn't really understand humans trying fruitlessly to lure them in.
That's another point. It feels alive because it's trying to convince you. It's like this entire thing is aware. And it's that uncanny valley feeling of, you know it's aware. You can tell it's trying to sort of convince you that you're in a place that's alive, kind of thing. And you just can't really put a finger on it. I think, again, the word I feel with this is unsettling and choice. The choice of doing what you don't feel comfortable with, but also then that sensation of unsettling, knowing it's something that seems familiar and yet so different and outlandish. I think it's fascinating. I think it's really cool.
With
Hi, Lara.
fractured
Latara,
memories
sorry.
of
Thank you for
motel
following.
rooms and hot tubs. I don't know. I don't know what 7819 is, really. I can only make guesses from what I experienced. Like I said...
Dude, we're gonna have so much fun playing Silent Hill. We are gonna have... This has made me so eager to play Silent Hill 2. Really
I took
has.
a lot of road trips as a kid. And there
Oh
are
shit,
some
because that's right, dude. So I've never played a Silent Hill game, but I did watch the Silent Hill movies, and that, I mean, say what you will for how corny those Silent Hill movies were. The scenes where the environment changes into like the corrupted areas, the fact that you drive into Silent Hill and it all warps around you. Silent Hill in of itself is an SCP, and it's got that same kind of like liminal, alter, like dimensional. You're trapped in this living entity. Same kind of vibe. You're stuck there until it lets you leave, or you do what it wants you to. Like, you appease the location, the entity. You have to perceive the area as a being rather than just a thing. Man, I want to watch the Silent Hill movie again.
deeply, deeply strange things that live on the edges of these highways.
If you follow these instructions,
The sequels
you will
were
exit with
okay.
no issue.
Not great, but okay.
If you haven't, we do not blame you for staying. Goodbye.
What do you mean, goodbye? You explain... Okay. Huh. Oh, that's it. That's straight up it. Dude, the Volgan has gone absolutely ham with these things. Like, having... Don't get me wrong, I really like the sort of, like, dialogue ones that he does, but having these, like, actual videos going just feels so much more immersive. That it just added that little bit of immersiveness to it. That was absolutely fantastic. This was great. I love this. check out the Volgan. I say it about every single one of his videos. This guy does good SCP stuff. Please go watch this. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this in the comments. Drop by Twitch, join the Discord, check out my Patreon for early exclusives, choosing what I watch in the future, and stuff that never appears elsewhere. Thank you for watching. Bye!